Friends, Miss Bree here. I just want you guys to take the next couple minutes to share something new with somebody nearby. If you can't think of anything at the moment, think about it all throughout this lesson, and once you get done, you can share that with somebody, one of your closest friends or family members, okay? Something interesting about me is that I love going to the beach, and I'm actually going this week, and I am so excited about it. I cannot wait. So we're going to go ahead and get started in this lesson that I have created for you. We are going to be learning all about the structure of a story. So we're going to learn about how to understand the structure of a story through a sequence of events. You're going to learn all about these next key terms that I have on the slide. So when we're reading and writing a story, there is a structure to it, right? So there is a beginning of a story, there is a middle of a story, and there is an ending of a story, okay? So I'm going to actually go ahead and share this screen with you, and I'm going to turn my computer over because I'm going to be sharing some information on my board. So I'm going to stop sharing this with you guys, and I just wanted you guys, we are back. I just had to get situated. So we're going to talk about, like I said, all about the structure of a story, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw out something that might be super helpful for you guys. So we have the structure, and what I'm making here is going to be called an anchor chart. So this might be really helpful for you guys to see simply what the structure of a story, what each section of that means, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with the beginning. So when you're reading a story, in the beginning, I want you guys to think about what is normally talked about right in the beginning. Is there a problem introduced in the beginning? Probably not. But this is a time when normally there are characters that are introduced in the beginning of a story. So we're going to go ahead and write characters. This is a time when the setting is normally introduced. I'm going to turn my brightness up. When a setting is normally introduced in a story. So if you guys know what a setting is, that is where the story is taking place. So we're going to go ahead and write setting, right? So setting is where the story is taking place. And then this is also a part where some conflict might be introduced, right? Depending on how long your book is, there might be some conflict, right? Something that happens with one character, maybe they're fighting, maybe they're going on a hunt. There's some type of conflict that is going to be happening in the middle of it or in the beginning of a story that might get introduced. It doesn't happen all the time, but it is possible. So we're going to go ahead and draw a line here. We're going to talk about the second part of a story. The second part of the story, like if you remember from the pictures before, is going to be the middle, okay? So the middle. What happens if in the middle of a story? So if we know that characters are introduced in the beginning, we know that the setting is normally introduced in the beginning, we know that some conflict can start to arise in the beginning. So that means in the middle of the story, most of the conflict, most of the events taking place are going to be happening in the middle of the story. So we're going to write events occur. Okay, so that's one thing that happens in the middle of the story. The other thing that happens in the middle of a story is when problems maybe start getting taken care of with some actions, right? So we're going to talk about maybe some actions are taking place. Maybe Jack and Jill went up the hill, right? And then they had some problems happen. When they went up the hill, there were some things that happened. So we're going to say action takes place. Maybe someone gets hurt in the beginning of a story. Maybe I fell, okay? And that was introduced in the beginning of my story, the first few pages. In the middle of this story, maybe my mom picked me up and took me to the hospital. And then, then we have our third part of our story, which is going to be my ending. Okay, so we're going to write end. And so if I fell in the beginning of the story, and then my mom took me to the hospital in the beginning of the, or in the middle of the story, maybe they told me she needs to get a cast because she broke her leg. So that was the solution of the ending of my story. So we're going to say solution is found. And then the ending, we can also say that this is when the story gets brought all together. So we're going to say story comes all together. All right, so just so you guys know, like we said, there are three main parts of a story, okay? We have the beginning, where characters, settings, and some conflict starts to happen, right? I broke my leg. We have our second part, the middle. This is when events occur, action takes place, okay? My mom, she took me to the hospital because she saw I was hurt and I was crying and I didn't know if my leg was broken. The third and final part of our story is going to be the ending, okay? This is what brings our story all together. This is when I have to get a cast because my leg was hurt really bad. So the cast is going to make my leg all better. Okay, so solution is found and your story comes all together. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for a minute. All right, we're back. So now that I am back and situated, we're going to go ahead and we're going to read the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. And here is the front page of that so you know what it looks like. So If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, written by Laura Numeroff and illustrated by Felicia Bond. All right, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to ask for a glass of milk. When you give him the milk, what is this mouse gonna do? He'll probably ask for a straw. When he's finished, he'll ask for a napkin. Then he'll want to look in a mirror to make sure he doesn't have a milk mustache. When he looks into the mirror, he might notice his hair needs a trim. So he'll probably ask for a pair of scissors. Right, there's his solution to that. When he's finished giving himself a trim, I'll want a broom to sweep it up. He may even end up washing the floors as well. And when he's done, he'll probably want to take a nap. You'll have to fix up a little box for him with a blanket and pillow. He'll crawl in, make himself comfortable, and fluff the pillow a few times. He'll probably ask you to read him a story. So, you'll read to him from one of your books, and he'll ask to see pictures. When he looks at the pictures, he'll get so excited. He'll want to draw one of them on his own. He'll ask for papers and crayons. A mouse that draws? When the picture is finished, he'll want to sign his name. With a pen. Then he'll want to hang his picture on your refrigerator, which means he'll need Scotch tape. He'll hang up his drawing and stand back to look at it. Looking at the refrigerator will remind him that, oh, he's thirsty. So, what do you think he's gonna do? He'll ask for a glass of milk. And chances are, if he asks for a glass of milk, what do you think he's gonna ask for? He's going to want a cookie to go with it. All right. And that is the end of the story. All right, so we just finished reading If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. There is a lot of events that took place in that story, right? We're gonna focus on a few of them. So the introduction of a story we covered has the characters, setting, and some conflict. So if you're familiar with the 5 W's, who, what, where, when, why, and how, these are questions you're going to want to ask yourself about what happens in the beginning. In the middle of the story, we covered that events occur. Is there a problem? Was the problem solved? If so, how? If the mouse wanted to hang up a picture on the refrigerator, how did he do that? And then we have the ending, right? So we talked about the solution being found. The story comes all together. A character might change. If they were happy, if they were sad, they were happy. The mouse, right, in the beginning of the story, he loved milk and cookies, and that came back full circle, and he had his milk and cookies at the end. So now I'm going to model an activity about what we're going to do. If you would like to grab one piece of paper, some markers, or pens, that's fine. So go ahead and pause this video for as long as you may need to gather those materials. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and continue going on. So now we're going to make this story structure on your piece of paper. However, I'm going to do it on the whiteboard just because there is a bit more room. So very quickly, I'm going to pause my video while I get situated. Okay, so we're back. Excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to write the title of our story at the very top of your paper. So it was called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Okay. So this is the title of my story. If you have multiple colors, that's fine. I do. If not, no worries. So on your paper, I want you to draw. We're going to go ahead and draw. We'll draw a line about halfway down the middle of your paper. Don't make it go all the way down. just about halfway down. Then next, you're going to draw a line at the bottom, just like this. So now it is separated into 3 different parts. So we're going to go ahead and write the beginning. The beginning. Next, we're going to write the middle. And the last part, we're going to write the end. Okay, so now our story that we just read, we are separating this structure into 3 different parts, okay? The beginning, the middle, and then the end. So if we remember, in the beginning, this is when characters are introduced, right? So this is when characters, like I said, are introduced. So we're going to do this only specifically on our book that we just read, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. So I want you to think about some characters that were introduced. So in the book, they may not have told us any names, but we know that there was a main character. It was a boy. So we can write a boy, and we know a mouse. Okay, so we have a boy and we have a mouse. Those are my 2 main characters that were introduced in my story. The middle. There is a whole bunch of events that happen in the middle. We don't need to name all of them, but some that come to my mind and some that might also come to yours. If you have different ones that come to your mind, please write them in here. So the one that keeps coming to my mind is the little boy, or the mouse, had a haircut, right? So we can write the mouse got a haircut. All right. We also can write in the middle of the story that they needed a broom to sweep up the hair. So his solution was solved in the middle of the story for this given example. So we can say the boy got a broom to sweep the hair, right? Because when you cut your hair is going to get everywhere, so they needed to sweep it up. Something else that occurred in the middle of the story was when the mouse wanted to draw a piece of a picture and hang it up on the refrigerator, right? So we can say the mouse hung his picture on the fridge. What was the solution to that? So that was sort of at the end of the story. So we're going to go ahead and write the solution here. So the mouse hung his picture on the fridge. If you remember, he needed something for his picture to get hung up on the fridge, and that thing was Scotch tape. So we're going to say the mouse used tape to hang his picture. There was also something else that happened at the end of the story, which is the main thing of this story, right? The main structure of this story is based off of what? A glass of milk. So we can say that the mouse wanted we're going to write that in the beginning, actually, okay? Yeah. The mouse wanted a glass of milk. Then all this fun stuff happened, and at the end of the story, the mouse, did he get his glass of milk? He did. And what did he ask for with it? A cookie too. So we're gonna say the mouse got his glass of milk and also a cookie to go with it. Okay, so in the beginning of the story, there was a boy and a mouse, and he asked for a glass of milk. In the middle of this story, a lot of turn of events happened. The mouse got a haircut. The boy got a broom to sweep up the hair from the haircut. The mouse hung his picture on the fridge, and then we're leading into the end of the story, and the mouse used tape to hang up his picture, and the mouse ended up getting his glass of milk, and he also asked for cookies to go with it. So there you have it. That is the structure of a story, right? There's three main parts of that: the beginning, the middle, and the end, and there's a whole turn of events that happen in a book. This is all key information for you guys to learn, and if you need to pause this video and copy what I have on the board, please do so. I only have a certain amount of time to record. I wish I had more time. I wish I saw you guys in person and could do a fun activity with you guys. I know your teachers are so excited to have you back next school year. We're really looking forward to that. Before we wrap up, I wanted you guys to think about what the three main parts of a story are. I want you to write that on your paper, right? Our three main parts. And I want you to go tell someone close by you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next time.